In this video, I'm just gonna go over job order costing really quick. So what job order costing is, it's a specific way to calculate and track individual jobs as they go through the factory. It's really about like the factory line of production of specific jobs. So like there's a different type of order costing when all these like pieces or like these items are like sort of mass produced and they don't have like a big difference between each job. But like specifically for job order costing, each job is actually kind of different and the costs associated with each job might vary. So how job costing first works, if you guys want to see just like an overview about the factory and how this works. So like um, there's several processes, like the raw material is purchased and stored in the inventory warehouse, and then the raw material is moved to the factory floor, and then on the factory floor employees come buy materials, and then the finished product is moved to the finished goods inventory and sold. So like there's this important thing, the work process inventory. So first there's material inventory. So inventory is put in as a debit. So like the value of the inventory itself would be put in as a debit with a certain amount. And then from the materials inventory would go out. So in the materials inventory account, first it would be debited and then a certain amount credited depending on how much is moved from the materials inventory account to the work in process account. So once it's been moved to the work in process inventory, the amounts would be debited. So like for example, if it's direct material, pretty much. But like not only is there inventory, but there's direct labor. So like direct labor, it would be like budgeted and estimated ahead of time to in a separate account, like a labor account that's been debited a specific amount for the year, and then from that account it would be credited to the work in process inventory as direct labor. Additionally, there's this thing called the manufacturing overhead. So manufacturing overhead would also be debited initially, and then that debited amount would be put into the manufacturing overhead account. And then depending on how much you would want to have that moved to work process inventory, you would credit that amount and then debit it into manufacturing overhead work in process inventory. So in the work in process inventory, you would have a debit amount of direct material, direct labor, and manufacturing overhead. And that would give you the amount of work in process inventory, the initial amount, and it would change every process manufacturing period, but like depending on how much of it's been used already, like because different amounts of material, different amounts of labor, different amounts of manufacturing overhead would have been used for each job. And so there's a beginning work in process inventory amount. And then more could be added in, like for example, more material, more labor, more manufacturing overhead. Um, and then what would you get after the job has been completed is the ending work in process inventory amount. So basically, uh, what happens is that after those products have been produced, you have the cost of goods manufactured, and then the ending inventory, the ending work in process inventory amount, and the ending work in process inventory amount would uh, be the beginning work in process inventory amount for the next manufacturing site, and the cost of goods manufactured amount would be credited, and then that amount would be debited into finished goods inventory for work in process account, and then it would be credited out as cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold would be its own account, and then that amount of cost of goods sold would be used to calculate certain things and present that on the balance sheet, expense sheet. So cost of goods manufactured equals beginning inventory plus manufacturing cost minus ending work in process inventory. I'll make some more videos on job order costing in a minute, some example problems, but I'll make this video short. I just want to talk about job order costing, exactly what job costing is, and we'll be going through more cost accounting in the next videos.